Introducing UniArch by UniView. Do these simplified IP security cameras live up to their UniView name? That's what we're going to be finding out in this video and over the next couple of weeks. UniView cameras are great. They're some of our favorite security cameras out there, and they are trusted by security professionals everywhere. But these cameras are not the most straightforward and user-friendly security cameras out there, not by a long shot. So what would happen if we took a UniView camera and stripped it back to only its bare necessities? UniView asked the same question, and the answer led them to creating an entirely new brand of video surveillance products, UniArch. Now, we've gotten a lot of questions about UniArch cameras over the last few weeks, and in today's video, we are going to do our best to answer all of those questions. Now, we will get to a product unboxing and demonstration later on in future videos, so keep an eye open for those over the next couple of weeks. But in today's video, we're going to focus on answering some of the most common questions that you guys have about UniArch products. So let's jump right into it. So, what is UniArch? How are UniArch security cameras different and similar to UniView security cameras? Who is UniArch primarily designed for? These are all questions that we are going to talk about in today's video. But before we get to the who, what, when, and where, I want to focus on what just might be the most important question: why? Why did UniView create an entirely new brand of surveillance products? What purpose do these cameras fulfill? I really think it all comes down to this one phrase, and you're gonna have to bear with me on this: home security cameras. Home security cameras. Let me know in the comments below right now what comes to your mind when you hear the phrase home security cameras. If you are a seasoned CCTV installer, you might hear home security cameras and instantly think about the older analog technology or some newer IP technologies. But at the same time, if you ask this same question to somebody who is outside of the video surveillance industry, they might have a completely different answer. The phrase home security camera might evoke different kinds of imagery with newer emerging technologies such as doorbell cameras or Wi-Fi security cameras. These consumer-grade, DIY-style security cameras that someone can go pick up at Best Buy and install in just an hour or two. So today, home security video surveillance doesn't necessarily just refer to one type of technology. Now, I realize that there is some overlap and it's not as clear-cut as this, but for the sake of this video, here is a quick illustration. I have these two bubbles here on the screen. On the left side here, we have consumer-grade video surveillance technologies, and on the right side, we have professional-grade. On the left, we might see brands such as Ring, Google Nest, SimpliSafe. And on the right, we might see Hikvision, Dahua, and UniView. For the most part, these two spheres are pretty distinct. Somebody looking for a security camera on this side of the spectrum probably isn't going to be interested in the products offered on this side of the spectrum. And honestly, they probably don't even know that this side of the spectrum even really exists. So let's take UniView for instance. As professional and as versatile as these cameras are, they really don't cater well to an audience looking for a mobile experience, an out-of-the-box experience, a DIY-style security camera that, again, they can just pick up at Best Buy and get completely set up and running in minutes all by themselves. And I think this is really where UniArch fits into the picture. Now understand, I'm not saying that UniArch is designed to compete with the likes of Ring or Google Nest. It's not that kind of security camera. You're not gonna find this completely in that consumer grade sphere. But I think what UniView is aiming to do with UniArch is bridge the gap between these two spheres. I think what UniArch could do really well is lower the entry barrier to the professional grade side of the spectrum. So for the purposes of our sphere illustration here, we're going to put UniArch right in the center of these two spheres, acting as a bridge, allowing people who are looking for a consumer grade simplified security camera to still get a slice of this professional grade IP security camera pie. Delicious. So that's the why. I think that is where UniArch fits into the video surveillance industry as a whole. And I do think this product line has a lot of potential to accomplish that goal, to lower the entry barriers and to allow more people to experience and to become familiar with IP camera manufacturers such as UniView. So now we know the why, let's circle back around and talk about the what. What even is UniArch? Well, in short, UniArch is a full range of IP security products geared towards simplicity and cost efficiency. So with UniArch, we have security cameras. We have NVRs, both with the PoE switch in the back and without that PoE switch. And we also have beautiful video surveillance monitors. Since these are geared toward simplicity and being user-friendly, since they do have kind of a mobile-first philosophy about them, these cameras are more consumer-oriented with the professional and reputable backing of UniView behind it. So again, it's kind of the bridge between these two worlds. It's not necessarily consumer grade, it's not necessarily professional grade, but it is somewhere in between. Consumer-oriented is what I'm calling it. So since this camera is manufactured by UniView, but it's not a UniView camera, what are the differences and similarities? That is what we are going to be talking about now. Let's get our spheres back up here and list out some typical features of professional grade UniView security cameras. These are geared towards security professionals. They are hardwired, configured by an experienced installer. The configuration is either web-based or NVR-based. These cameras have a full set of features from intelligent analytics to even some artificial intelligence. They are robust, they are durable, they are very versatile for a wide range of surveillance situations, from small residential installations all the way up to large corporate, even government installations. The resolution on these cameras range from 2 megapixel all the way up to 4K and some even higher resolution than that, and a ton of options when it comes to housing types, lens types, form factor, that kind of thing. Now here are a few traits of these stereotypical consumer grade security cameras. Again, they are primarily geared toward the end user. They're usually wireless, set up through Wi-Fi, and completely DIY. The configuration is almost completely mobile based. There's a very limited set of features. These cameras might have basic motion detection. They're very lightweight. They're not super durable. They are more geared toward cost efficiency than durability. They're very situation specific, which usually means it's going to be installed on a residential property, indoors or outdoors. There's not much else you can do with these cameras. And these cameras typically have lower resolutions. We are seeing some more 4K cameras come out, but still, for the most part, these are 1080p. And they have very limited options when it comes to lens types and housing types. Both of these styles of cameras have their pros and cons, depending on the situation that you are trying to install cameras for. A good way to think about it is that the UniArch cameras, as the bridge between these two worlds, kind of takes on the pros of both. Simple enough for consumers to pick up and use, but still with the professional reputation of UniView. These are not Wi-Fi cameras, they are still hardwired, so they still require cables to be run, so they can definitely be professionally installed, but I can also see these being sold as DIY options since other than running the cable, it is relatively easy to figure out and get set up. This does have web browser and NVR configuration, just like a regular UniView camera. That's how you would initially get it set up, but it does have a very powerful mobile app, which in my opinion is the strongest feature on these new UniArch security cameras. Yes, we do have an Easy View app for regular UniView cameras, which allows you to view your cameras from anywhere in the world and set up notifications and a few other very, very basic features. The UniArch app, on the other hand, gives you pretty much the full range of features and settings right at your fingertips. Any of the settings that you can adjust from the web interface or NVR, you can now adjust from your cell phone, which is really nice. It's not a complete mobile solution like some of the consumer grade cameras that we've seen, but it definitely takes this step a lot further than UniView. Like consumer grade cameras, UniArch does have a very limited feature set, pretty much with basic motion detection, and that's about it. It is very lightweight, this is all plastic, and again, it is situation specific. probably a little bit less so than consumer grade. This can be used for residential. I would say this could be used for small business, even medium-sized businesses. So it is a little bit more versatile, not nearly as versatile as a full-blown UniView camera, but more so than these fully consumer grade cameras. With UniArch, we currently have resolution options ranging from lower end at 2 megapixel up through mid-range resolution here with this 4 megapixel. And it maintains that super crisp and beautiful image that we have come to know and love from UniView. So the resolution and the image quality on the UniArch cameras is going to be far superior to a lot of the security cameras over here in more of the consumer grade category. However, it's still going to have limited options when it comes to form factor, lens type, zoom factor, that kind of thing. This does have more options than your typical consumer grade cameras, but it's still going to be more limited than your standard UniView security camera. So that's about it. You take the pros from each of these groups of cameras and you put them together, and that is pretty much UniArch. Again, the main differences between UniArch and UniView are going to be the limited feature set, the plastic and lightweight body, and the fully enhanced mobile configuration options available for the UniArch security cameras. I hope this video helped clear up some of the questions for you surrounding UniArch and UniView, what the differences are and why this camera exists. I think UniArch security cameras really do have the potential for you to expand your customer base beyond just the people looking for solely professional grade equipment. In the next couple of videos, we are going to be jumping into a full experience with these cameras. We're going to do the whole unboxing, the product demonstration. We're going to set this up with a whole system of UniArch products, including a couple of cameras, a couple of NVRs, a couple of monitors. We're also going to fully compare the video from this camera with video feeds from UniView. So if you are interested in that video, be sure to click the subscribe button down below. Click the bell so you will be notified as soon as that video goes live, and let us know in the comments below what you think about these cameras so far. I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope you learned a thing or two about UniView and UniArch, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.